First and foremost, all thanks and praises unto our power, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Wawakakwadash. Peace, blessings, and much respect to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, on down to the rest of the elders who rule well within Israel. Salutations to the hopeful elect throughout the four corners of this whole entire earth, no matter where, whom they may be, or what they may look like, pushing out this purified truth to the rest of the church who believe as well. You men who may not be teachers or prophets, you women, sons and daughters also. And of course, the water to Yahweh Shai, because without him enduring and going to that cross for the nation of Israel and the nation of Israel alone, none of this would even be possible whatsoever. Now, I have the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as the book of Sirach, chapter 28 and verse 1. He that revengeth shall find vengeance from the Lord, and he will surely keep his sins in remembrance. So if you want to hold a grudge on a brother, the Lord is going to hold a grudge on you. You might be going out to teach, you're linking up with some brothers, you're giving everybody a shalom, and then one brother in particular, as you reach out your hand to give him a shalom, he doesn't reach his hand out to you. So now you're offended, and now you're thinking in your mind, okay, he didn't give me a shalom today, so now every time you see this brother, now you acting shady towards him. Now you treating him funny, not even knowing that when you reached out to give him a shalom, he just didn't see you. He honestly didn't see you. Okay? We have to have forgiveness in our hearts one towards another. Speaking of those of us who are believers. Verse 2, forgive thy neighbor the hurt that he hath done unto thee, so shall thy sins also be forgiven when thou prayest. And guess what? Just because we're brothers, we're linked in the spirit, it does not mean we're not going to offend each other from time to time. It doesn't mean we're not going to bump heads from time to time. But even with that happening, we should still be able to set aside our differences as men and still have love one towards another. One man beareth hatred against another, and doth he seek pardon from the Lord. And you have men in this ministry, they hate their brother. You have men who are linked up with camps, and they'll hate you because you're not in their camp, or you're not linked in their acronym, although you're teaching the truth just like them. They'll shun you away. Men like that are going to be dealt with. Yahweh Shai is going to deal with men like that. But for our end, we should still forgive those men and still, see them as brethren. Now, although we forgive them, it doesn't necessarily mean the Lord is going to forgive them, but it shows that we're applying the word, because we ourselves, we offended the Lord. So we have to look at it like that. When someone offends us, well, we offended the Lord as well. The Lord gave us, opportunity to get our act together. So we should give brothers opportunity to make it right with us as well. It's not like brothers is, trying to murder you, or brothers is trying to commit adultery with your wife. Brothers will fall out and then have hatred in their heart for one another over some of the smallest matters, over some of the dumbest things. Okay, but then claim that they're in this ministry. Then claim that they're men of the Lord. Then claim that they love the Lord who they can't see, while hating their brother who they could see with their physical eye. He showeth no mercy to a man which is like himself. And what does it mean, a man which is like himself? Well, first of all, a man like yourself would be someone from your own nation. And then on top of that, someone from your own nation who believes just as you do. They calling on the names, okay? They believe in the doctrine of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai just as you, but you have hatred in your heart towards them because they offended you. And it wasn't really something that, can't be made right. Brothers will fall out over dumb things, very small matters, and then claim that the Lord is dealing with them. He showeth no mercy to a man which is like himself, and doth he ask forgiveness of his own sins? If he that is but flesh nourish hatred, who will entreat for pardon of his sins? So we shouldn't be nourishing hatred one towards another. We should have the mentality of forgiving one another. And love and righteousness. Not love according to the world, but love according to righteousness. We should have love for our brothers, man. Even if a brother offended you, if a brother's in need of help, and if you're able to do it, help that man. Okay? Let go of grudges. Let go of measly tensions. Okay? Remember the end, and let enmity cease. Remember corruption and death, and abide in the commandments. Remember the commandments, and bear no malice to thy neighbor. Remember the covenant of the highest, and wink at ignorance. Abstain from strife, and thou shalt diminish thy sins. For a furious man will kindle strife. A sinful man disquieteth friends, and maketh debate among them that be at peace. And that's what you have to be careful for. You'll have men at peace, but then you'll have another man try to get in between that. Because one man might not like someone, so he'll whisper to another man to come against that other man who is just like themselves. Okay, you have to be careful with fakes and phonies. Alright? And there are men who will literally cast you out all because you're not in their camp. All because you don't follow, which when I say follow, all because you're not, affiliated with them. You're not camping with them every week. You're not doing sit downs with them. So in their mind, nigga, who are you? But yet they claim that they're brothers. They claim that the Lord is with them. Matthew chapter 6 and 14. For if ye forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will forgive you. So when it comes to men in this truth, when it comes to the church, we have to forgive one another. Okay? Little measly tensions, we don't have time for that. Okay? Now, men have done things throughout my time in this truth that I feel are very offensive. Treated me funny. But I still see those men as brothers because as far as I'm concerned, guess what? They still going out and teaching. They still show that they believe in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Okay? And I want to make sure that I myself be forgiven. So instead of holding a grudge towards men and, going through my life with that grudge on my shoulder, I let things go. Now, when it comes to people in the world, I'm not necessarily that way. I hold grudges all day. I'm not going to lie to you. But when it comes to the believers, when it comes to those who are in this church, we have to set those grudges to the side, man. Okay? And I always see it like this. Imagine a man having multiple wives, and all his wives are bickering with each other. All his wives got knives to each other's throats. But then within that, I shouldn't say all his wives. Most of his wives got knives to each other's throats. But then within that, you have the wife who's trying to get along. She's trying to be humble. She's trying to please her husband. But then you have another wife trying to put a knife to her neck. You have men in this truth who are trying to be brothers, trying to show that they care about the brotherhood. But then you have other men trying to put a knife to your neck. Okay? Because in their mind, who are you? But if ye forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. And it can be a lot of things. A brother might have told you, okay, you said you need a ride to work. What time you gotta be at work? 3? Okay, I'll be there. The brother ends up showing up late. And now you hold that grudge on the brother because you ended up showing up to work late. And then from that point on, you looking at the brother funny. You doing things to kind of, hinder the brother. Now you're being a thorn in that man's foot instead of being forgiving and also understanding he didn't do it on purpose. We all make mistakes. Okay? Let's go to the book of John, chapter 2 and verse 11. This beginning of miracles did Yahushai in Cana of Galilee, and manifested forth his glory, and his disciples believed on him. This isn't the one. Let's go to 1 John. I believe it's 1 John. 1 John chapter 2 and 11. But he that hateth his brother is in darkness, and walketh in darkness, and knoweth not whither he goeth, because that darkness hath blinded his eyes. So if you hate your brother without cause, he didn't do nothing on a line of, no turning back. A brother did a minor offense. Okay, the brother did something that rubbed you the wrong way. Whatever it may be, it can go into an innumerable amount of things. But none of those things were sins, worthy of death. None of those things were, problems that couldn't be resolved. But he that hateth his brother is in darkness, and walketh in darkness, and knoweth not whither he goeth, because that darkness hath blinded his eyes. And that shows you, if you hate your brother, you're not applying the word. Because if you were applying the word, you would be full of light. But if you're not applying the word, then really it's because the word is not in you. Okay? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. So if you're not speaking according to this word, there's no light in you. But guess what? If you're not applying the word either, there is also no light in you. You have hatred in your heart for your brother for nothing. You see the brother doing what you're doing, and in some cases, a brother may be even more passionate about this ministry than you are. A brother may be doing lessons every day. You might be a brother, you do a lesson when you can, but you over here with an evil eye towards this man, like he can't be a man of the Lord. But yet, he's producing. Okay? He's doing the work. And speaking of doing the work, I was going to go out today, but we actually hit a record-breaking high on our weather forecast. So we were in the negatives earlier today, man. We were in like the -9s, -10s. And I think from what the news said, it hasn't been that cold since 1888. All right. So Lord willing, I'll be able to make it out tomorrow though. But anyway, so if you're not applying this word, there's no light in you. If you're not speaking to this word, there is no light in you. And many men claim that they're of Yahweh Shai, but they're not moving how Yahweh Shai had told them to move. They're not moving how Yahweh Shai moved himself. Matthew 12 and 50. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father, which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. So if you have hatred towards a brother who's doing the will of the Heavenly Father and his only begotten Son, you are in darkness, because those are who your brother are. That's why I read, let's just go back to John, all right? And then I'll jump right back to this. 1 John chapter 2 and 11. But he that hateth his brother is in darkness, and walketh in darkness, and knoweth not whither he goeth, because that darkness hath blinded his eyes. And if you're not speaking according to this word, the light's not in you. If you're not applying this word, the light is not in you. But it says, he that hateth his brother. And I just read to you what a brother is. Okay, your brother, according to Matthew 12 and 50, it's in red letters. So this is Yahweh Shai speaking. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father, which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. So those who are doing the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, those are our brothers and sisters. Those are our family. Those are the ones we should not be holding grudges with. Okay, because we're all in the flesh. We all have our personalities. We might have a certain perspective, and we expect everybody to see things from our point of view. And then there can be misunderstandings from that. Okay, but with that, there should always be room for resolution. Seeing that we ourselves, we have to have a sense of mercy to receive mercy when dealing with fellow believers. And just because they're fellow believers, it doesn't necessarily mean you necessarily like them, but you liking them shouldn't affect you being a brother to them. You not liking them shouldn't cause you to be grimy or wanting to seek revenge or, doing things to sabotage them. Colossians 3 and 12, put on therefore as the elect of the power, holy and beloved, bowels of mercy, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long-suffering. And a lot of men lack that. They don't show mercy. They'll just cast a brother off. Oh, you're not a part of us. We don't know you, nigga. Okay? They don't show kindness. If they feel like you're showing signs of falling out, instead of reaching out and saying, brother, you need help, you need anything, they'll just do a video subliminally speaking on you saying, this brother look like he about to fall out. Instead of being like, brother, you okay? Is something bothering you? You need a boost. You need a push. Humbleness of mind. Men will tell you, you got to come under them. If you don't come under them, then you ain't in this truth. You got to go through them in order to get to Yahweh Shai. Meekness, long-suffering, forbearing one another and forgiving one another. And that seems to be something that men don't really apply. Okay? And I'm speaking of those who are speaking the same thing as us. Okay? If any man have a quarrel against any, even as Mashiach forgave you, so also do ye. So we all fell away from our first love. We all offended the Lord, and seeing that we've come back, okay, we have to remember that we ourselves are looking for forgiveness. And seeing that we ourselves are looking for forgiveness, we should be exercising that same type of attitude towards our brethren and sisters, okay, fellow believers, those of the household of faith. Now let's touch on the book of Luke chapter 9 and verse 48. And said unto them, whosoever shall receive this child in my name receiveth me, and whosoever shall receive me receiveth him that sent me. For he that is least among you all, the same shall be great. And there's a lot of men being treated as nothing in this ministry. A lot of men are being casted out, being, overlooked. A lot of men are being ignored by brothers now. I'm not even just speaking of the world. I'm speaking of brothers. Brothers are, treating brothers a certain way, and they themselves think they're going to seek favor from the Lord. They themselves are so confident that the Lord is going to show favor upon them, and here they are rejecting one of the Lord's men and not even knowing who that man could be. And then some men, you should have an idea if you're spiritual, and then you'll still find yourself, being ill towards someone. Okay? Like, for example, the brother Stephen, nonstop on the block brother, he's very diligent, goes out all the time. You're never going to hear brothers, speak well of him or, exercise a sense of uplifting, because he goes out, every day, and he teaches by himself. All right. But you'll have men, pretend like this man is not of the body. You'll have men pretend like his works mean nothing. I've heard men say he's a diligent demon. Some of you men, you really think the Lord is dealing with you, and he's absolutely not. Okay, a lot of you men are going to be like, Lord, I prophesied, I did all this in your name, and he's going to look you dead in your eyes, man, with furious anger and say, depart from me, I never knew you. I never knew you. And then the same man that you hated, you're going to see standing right next to him. Okay? Now, verse 49. And John, speaking of John, as you will call John the Revelator, and John answered and said, Master, we saw one casting out devils in thy name, and we forbade him because he followeth not with us. And that's the mentality of a lot of men in this ministry. It's like, look, there's men out here teaching this word, doing the work, just like themselves, but they'll be casted out or looked at as an enemy because they're not a part of their so-called camp. Now, this was told to John, okay? Let's read 49 again. And John answered and said, Master, we saw one casting out devils in thy name, and we forbade him because he followeth not with us. So it was told to John by Yahushua this. Verse 50. And Yahushua said unto him, forbid him not, for he that is not against us is for us. So you men need to understand that. Those who aren't against Yahushua is for Yahushua. But some of y'all camp banging. If a man isn't a part of your immediate camp, okay, if he doesn't claim your acronym, even though he's teaching the truth, he might even be more diligent than you, right? He might be going out more than once a week, but you'll still look at him like an enemy. The Lord is going to deal with guys like that, man. A lot of you men better check yourself like Nikes. And Yahushua said unto him, forbid him not, for he that is not against us is for us. And seeing that this was told to John the Revelator, some of us are actually experiencing this. We're experiencing what it's like to be casted out, looked at as an outsider, because we're not following directly with certain camps. We're not directly linked up with certain men, so in their eyes, to hell with this guy. I don't claim him as a brother. I don't need to respond to his comments. I don't need to pray for him. Well, don't expect the Lord to have favor and mercy on you either. You have no idea who you're doing that to. So, Lord willing, this lesson, it was simple and edifying. All thanks and praises unto our power, Yahweh, Bahashum Yahweh Shai, Bahashum Wa Rakakwadah. Shalom.